welcome to 2026, and I'm going to do a little dance. Woo, 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 woo. I am 30 years old today. Yep. Rugby Heartland, or me with Rugby Online, is celebrating 30 years of bringing rugby online to the world. 14 years before Super Rugby thought, oh, let's get a website. 10 years before the Hurricanes even go, oh, let's get a website. I've been bringing you the news now for rugby online for 30 years. And there's only one person I can bring in who's been on the journey for 30 years. And I tell you what, does it make you feel old? Rhodey!
Hey! 30 years, woo! Mate, that's impressive. You were doing this stuff, as you said, before anyone else was. Hey, remember the old dial-up? You were doing it when we had dial-up, mate.
I know. Email. The WFR All-Stars who played in 2001 and 2002 at Honolulu Park. Our team was selected by email.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we even had phones that had photos, before Facebook, before all the social media shit. So we were emailing people who were basically playing. I'll just see if I can bring it up because I've got it all set and ready to go. Well, I thought I did. Because we had invented a online game called, I'm just trying to bring this up, people, called, show me, come on. World Fantasy.
There you go.
6, because Wayback Machine, unfortunately, only goes back to about 1998, 1996. But clearly says on the Wayback Machine, I'll look right at the small lettering, copyright, all rights reserved, 1996 to the year 2000. And, what else did we have there? If I just quickly get rid of that and bring up this other one, because, it does make life interesting. This is how we used to report the Hurricanes back in the year 2000, for example, with what the games were, who were in the team even. If I can zoom that up, we got players there like, some guy called Christian Cullen, Jonah Lomu, Alama Eremia. How about these for some name throwbacks? David Holwell, Paul Steinmetz, Jason Spice, Kupu Vanesi. Wasn't he an awesome player from Otago? So... Sorry?
I've forgotten about him.
Oh, I hadn't. He was brilliant. Yogi Viljoen, Tanner Villi, my buddy who's up in, Auckland now with, I think it's the Teachers Club up there. But Kevin Yates, the Englishman, if you remember him, he was one of the first English players to come and play in Super Rugby. So, unfortunately, a few of these names we don't have anymore. Norm Hewitt, of course, Jonah Lomu, and co. And now Tana Umanga, well, he's still floating around, I believe.
It's a generation, mate. You've been around for a generation of rugby, if you think about it, because all those guys are the previous generation. Some of them are coaching, some of them are gone, but you know what I'm saying? It's a generation of rugby.
Oh,
you were doing this stuff when the game was still amateur. There's some people alive now that don't remember the amateur game.
No, and the beauty of this is you can believe us, or you can think we're talking shit. But the thing is, we've been there, we've done it, we've bought the ticket. We remember going to Athletic Park when it was packed. I remember going to the new stadium when it was packed.
I remember Lancaster Park the day that Auckland finally lost to Canterbury and Paddy O'Brien was refereeing and the ground was packed. This is after 8 or 9 years of Canterbury getting their ass kicked every game, and yet the ground was still packed, right? It was a night game. right in front of us, there was a ruck. And Auckland were doing the good old, let's lay on the wrong side of the ball and can't settle off. Well, young Paddy O'Brien put his hand up and blew a whistle, and I'll never forget this. Zinzan Brook was standing in front of the bank, and as soon as he said this, he got arseholes, right? He turned around to Paddy O'Brien after he gave that penalty and went, "You're an effing cheat." And Paddy put his hand up and went 10 more metres, and after that, Canterbury just... Mertens kicked the penalty, and Canterbury rolled over them because Zinzan was stomping around the field with Fitzpatrick all upset and mouthing off at the referee, and that was the beginning of the end of that great era of the Auckland team that, I won't say they cheated, but they got away with a lot of stuff, and Paddy O'Brien was the guy who drew the line in the sand and said no more. Yeah. And he did it at Lancaster Park in front of a packed crowd.
Oh, I know. So one thing I do want our viewers who are watching us today, comment. Tell us what your best memories over the last 30 years of professional rugby means to you. Has it been better? Has it been the detriment of rugby? Have we lost that amateurishness? Because, unfortunately, we've lost the dedication of a club, when they started out, we had, the Auckland Blues and the Canterbury Crusaders and the Wellington Hurricanes, the Otago Highlanders. Now they're just the nicknames. And they're not franchises anymore because now you hear it every week. I'm proud to be a member of this club. So,
news to me.
Yeah. To me, but then, the days of having those guys coming out of Hawke's Bay, Manawatu, Wairarapa Bush, Wanganui, who could get into the Hurricanes team, well, they're gone. You basically play for Wellington and you're in the Hurricanes more than likely.
Look at the first Crusaders team. Andy Miller was from Bay of Plenty, first five, and Graham Dempster from South Canterbury.
Yeah.
They were first Crusaders team. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's what we're sort of saying. Jump out and, Happy New Year to Clarence. Yeah, Happy New Year to you too. Because it is a new year. It's a great year. We've got plenty to talk about. We've got a couple of guests still to come onto the show. And as I said, throw your questions out there, people, because we're going to have a chat about what's happened in recent days, and we're going to look forward to what's coming up because Super Rugby is just around the corner. But there's only one person I would ask who would have all the knowledge of what's actually going on, and that would be a certain one-eyed Cantabrian who lives in Dunedin. So, what's the latest news in the ODT down that way?
Well, I haven't got it in front of me, but there's paraphrasing an article today where apparently the ODT, the Otago Daily Times, approached Jamie Joseph. Everyone's been going on in the media. Jamie Joseph, right? He was approached by a reporter. So, next All Black coach, blah, blah, blah. Joseph stated, I have not spoken to anybody at New Zealand Rugby. So, all this, he's the front runner. Nobody in New Zealand Rugby has spoken to him, apparently. And when he was asked if he'd spoken to Tony Brown, he said, I speak to him every week, mainly about golf.
Wow.
So all the scuttlebutt about Jamie Joseph's the favourite. When he approached by a reporter, I have not spoken to anybody in the New Zealand Rugby Union hierarchy.
Well,
so you tell me.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I was saying to you, at the moment, they don't have a director of rugby because he's gone to play soccer in England. Yep. We don't have a CEO.
No.
And I mentioned to you the other day, and it blew your brain.
Yeah.
Is David Kirk the new Sears Blasey?
Well, yeah, when you said that, I went, because who remembers Sears Blasey? That's going back 30 plus years.
Well, I mean, Eddie Tonks, he was the same because in the old days, I know we're talking like a bunch of old bastards here. But in the old days, the coach was announced by the chairman, the team was announced by the chairman, anything about the All Blacks was announced by the chairman. But since it's gone professional and it's all the CEO now, you know, we've had to listen to Steve Chu and all these other guys, Robinson.
Let's talk about the process here. Like, before we get on about what we're going to talk about, there's a couple of things that have stopped happening. And I equate this now to the problems Ian Foster had and subsequently what happened with Scott Robertson, right? When was the last time we had an All Black selection panel, and when was the last time we had an All Black trial?
Yep. And you can't count the North-South game from a couple of years ago because that was just a money grab.
That's right. So when was the last time? We used to have a selection panel appointed that had the coach and two other people who weren't in the coaching team selecting a team, and this was even in the early professional days, selecting a team. You'd have a trial, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's my theory, and it's based on nothing but observation. I've heard nothing from anybody, but you have a look at what happened in the last few years with Foster. So Foster gets the team out of the Hanson-Henry era, right? There's players contracted on All Black contracts, okay? And then in the meantime, we see players like Tom Christie announced as they have a Super Rugby contract, okay?
Yeah.
Then at the end of the Foster regime, suddenly two players, or one player at least that I won't name, comes back from overseas and goes, I'm going to sign signs an All Black contract, right? Then when Razor starts, we're all looking at the team going, Razor wouldn't have picked those sort of guys. His culture, his team, that's not the players you'd expect he would have, right? And we've discussed this. You have a look at my theory is, to cut a long story short, that Foster and Robertson were both hamstrung because there was players in those squads who had All Black contracts. And the board, rightly, probably said, we are paying these guys All Black contracts. They are to be selected. So Foster and Robertson, well, unlike coaches before them who would pick guys that fitted their culture, fitted their game plan, were stuck with guys who are on All Black contracts.
Yes.
That's what I think. So you're looking at, say, they talk about the Scott Robertson problem was a culture problem, right? So have a look at it. He had a team that was predominantly Chiefs because those guys had signed All Black contracts when the Chiefs were the team that won everything, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to instill a culture. We know that he had a good culture at the Crusaders. So he's got his Crusaders captain there, tries to install a Crusaders culture. And we hear all this stuff coming out, the players didn't like the culture, blah, blah, blah. Well, of course not. You've got a predominant lot of guys on All Black contracts that he can't get rid of from a team that had a different culture. It's not going to work, is it? And the same as Foster. Foster had guys left over from the Hanson period who were on All Black contracts. It's purely speculation on my part. I've heard nothing. But when you start to look and you start to see things, like, for example, Sam Cane last year, suddenly he comes back from injury and there was flankers that were playing really well. No, Sam Cane's playing. And he wasn't really up to form, right? Why was that? All Black contract. See, I mean, I think that's what's stuffing the game up. There's no more a selection on merit. It's, well, these 36 guys have All Black contracts, so they're your first picks regardless.
Yep. And, well, I mean, I also mentioned that on the end of year tour, which, okay, they lost to the English or whatever it was, but it was a case scenario of they had, injuries, as we all know, to the scrum halves. They had Dylan Pledger from Otago, who was playing out of his skin for Otago. Absolutely brilliant. A couple of years earlier, they would take in an apprentice to Europe with them.
Yep.
But no, they turned around and they said, no, even though we've got all the, what do you call it? I've just been caught
New Zealand
here.
15.
Sorry.
New Zealand 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he wouldn't go. But I'll just quickly like to say, I'll pause what I was saying. Happy New Year, Mr. Mike Sheehan. Welcome to the room.
Good morning, boys. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Rabs.
Right.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Are you
Oh,
ready
yeah.
for 10 months of this?
You did right. You did right though, Rabs, because who did they bring in? A guy that was on an All Black contract, right?
And his name was?
Finlay Christie,
Finlay
right?
Christie. Right.
And you
So,
talk
sorry,
about.
Mike, I'll just finish what I was saying. And my point here was, if Dylan Pledger had gone away with the All Blacks, he would have already been absorbed into the environment. He would already be in that training process, knowing what to do and how to do it and all that sort of stuff. He comes back. He doesn't go. He then had a little bit of time off. He comes back into training for Super Rugby, and now he's out for 12 months.
Yep.
because in his head, he was going, I've got to get bigger, I've got to get stronger,
Yep.
I've got to do this quickly.
Yep.
If they had done it slowly and brought him in and nurtured him, I reckon they pushed him too fast, and that is why he got injured.
Well, that's another thing I think too. A lot of the guys these days are doing a shitload of gym work, right? And
Yep.
they're always getting injured. You go back
Yep.
to the day when guys just ran on the farm or whatever, didn't do gym work, they'd just run forever. I think that some of the guys are getting injured because they're just doing too much in the gym.
And then have a beer and a smoke after it.
Hey, and it worked, mate, didn't it? Did you ever hear them getting injured? Did you ever hear of them getting injured?
No. But, Mike, I see you got a present for Christmas.
Did I?
Yeah.
What did I get?
You bought yourself a blind for your window.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the sun's coming in, so I had to put it down. Got a bit of fucking glare. Got a bit of glare there. Yeah, so what's happening anyway, boys? We fucking fizzed up for another year.
Well,
Yeah,
we
bloody
certainly are. We were just saying about how we've been doing stuff for 30 years, and this is my 30 and Rhodey's 30th, because he's been on the journey with me for the last 30 years. And yeah, no, we're looking forward to it. We're just talking about what's happening with what's been going on. Any opinions from you on the All Black saga?
It's first and foremost, you got to feel sorry for Scott Robinson as a person. He's just lost his job, and it's been very public. It's been a very public sacking. He's been ridiculed on just about every social media platform. But I'm just not too sure. I'm just going to sit on the fence at the moment. I'm just eager to see who's going to come in and take over.
Yeah.
Well, just before you came on, Mike, I was just telling Rabs about an article in the ODT this morning where a reporter spoke to Jamie Joseph.
Right.
The media, all the rugby experts saying he's the front runner for the job, blah, blah, blah. Rugby union saying they want to get someone in place quick. Jamie Joseph stated quite categorically that he had not spoken to anybody at New Zealand Rugby. No one from New Zealand Rugby has contacted him.
I bet you. I bet you they have.
Well, he claimed to this reporter in the paper yesterday that he had not spoken to anybody in New Zealand Rugby.
But
I
the problem here is,
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, this is the problem, right?
But I don't, because of the way the corporate board structure is. Yeah,
but this is my biggest problem with the whole scenario. He said, she said, he said. Someone's got to come out. I mean, David Kirk, yeah, brilliant little press conference the other day. Yeah, reporters already chasing down poor old Scott Robinson in the street, and he went, yeah, go away. Fair enough on his part. But, we need it sorted before this Super Rugby season kicks off. We really do. Because it's not just the fans that want to know. The players want to know. They want to know, oh, shit, Rhodey's in the grandstand watching me. And there's his assistant, Mike.
And the thing is,
put my A game on.
Look at the season ahead of us. I mean, They did the same thing with Foster. They did a 2-year review with him, right, when he was going averagely, and said, "Oh, look, okay, we'll give you the next 2 years." To me, right, forget about the World Cup. This year, you've got that new World Championship where you've got Ireland, Italy, and France coming here, and then you've got a bloody 4-test tour of South Africa, right? Like, changing your coach then is like just maybe just go, you know? Yeah, don't know.
But anyway, what a lineup! Happy New Year, Mr. Voice of Heartland Rugby, Donnie Bell. How are you, my friend?
Fellas. Great to be on. Great to be back. Happy 2026 and many happy returns.
Yeah.
Donnie's back off his bender.
Yeah, Mulgrew Sounds on the muesli bars doing a bit of fishing after that blue cod.
Yes, exactly right. Blue cod season well and truly back in full swing. Of course, we had that downtime, but I timed my trip very nicely that blue cod's back in the ocean. So I've made sure I've saved everybody plenty. But
oh, that's lovely.
Got amongst, so.
Well, and I'll just catch you up, so you understand why I'm really pumped and ready to go this year. I'm celebrating 30 years this year of bringing rugby online to the world. 10 years before Super Rugby had a website. 10 years before even my Mighty Hurricanes had a website. We used to bring news. I used to go down to the trainings at Porirua Park or Porirua Police College where the Hurricanes used to train to bring weekly news. We invented a online rugby game. What? Called World Fantasy Rugby back in 1996. We even had a real team that we selected by email before. I didn't even know the guys until I picked them up from the airport. And I see these 6 guys walking off the plane from Sydney and going, gee, they look bloody awesome. And I'm holding the jerseys up with their names on the back. And they walk straight past me. And I went, oh, okay, that can't be them. The next 6 guys through the customs were as pissed as farts going, Crabs! And I thought, this is going to be good. You know? So if any of those boys are watching, love to get you on the show. We were 2001, 2002 reunion.
We were like the Spinal Tap of rugby, eh? We were.
Yeah, we'd go out, play the game. I'd last 5 minutes after training for 6 months, and then just say, "Hand me the whiskey bottle." It was brilliant. It was
and here I was supposed to be coaching a former back, and I'm playing prop because we didn't have a prop.
Oh yeah, who was that guy we were playing against? Someone called Chris Marsoe, Mark Ellis, and half the Otago team.
Jamie Joseph.
Yeah, it was stupid. We got beaten 100-0, but we had fun.
Main thing, rugby was the winner on the day, and you had fun.
Yeah, exactly.
It certainly was. But we're just talking quickly. I mean, as I said, this is let's get into it season for the next 10 months because that's where we're at. We've had a chat about. We've all had our comment about what's been going on about he said, she said, they said. Rhodey has said that in the ODT, Jamie Joseph has stated that he has not been approached by the NZR at all. You're the man with your finger on the pulse. You're back at work on Monday. What's your view, Donnie?
Yeah, I thought there'd be more. I thought there'd be more of a push in terms of them fronting who those coaches were going to be, but it sounds like they are going through a much longer process with it, which to a degree I understand, but I think I just thought, oh, look, they've got everything in place. They've got Joseph, they've got Brown, they're ready to go. They're going to make a move here, but it doesn't seem like that at all. It sounds like it was very calculated in the review as to what happened there and what they needed to do and what they felt was right for the All Blacks in New Zealand rugby, at the same time as feeling for Razor as a bloke. But in terms of what you've asked me, I just thought Joseph and Brown, they'd secured it. But Brownie doesn't sound like he's leaving South Africa. I thought that was the ploy. And with Brownie staying and with Joseph still taking his time, I think they will still look. I mean, I feel like they're still going to go with Joseph. I could be wrong. Doesn't look like Dave Rennie's going anywhere. He's coaching in Japan. Seems happy there. Yeah, from what I've been told. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. Interesting one, boys. Looks like it's going to be a few more weeks away. But are we all still thinking Joseph? Or have we all leaned towards John Mitchell?
Well, I've got a left field one for you. I've got a left field one for you guys. And I think I've said this to Rabs. May have said it to Mike. And it just makes me worry, okay? Now, remember when Fozzie's tenure was up for review and they were starting to cast the net? Who turned up in New Zealand? Warren Gatland turned up, right? And it seemed like he was sniffing around the job. Didn't get the job. Ended up coaching the Chiefs for a season, and every time you saw him on TV, he was sulking in the back of the box, and then he left, right? Now, I don't know anything about this New Zealand Rugby Union board, but it does worry me that the way it's carrying on, that are they going to do something silly out of left field and Gatland turns up and goes, pick me, I'm available, and they put him in?
Well, I believe I read somewhere he's going to go off and coach Georgia.
Yeah, but Georgia or the All Blacks, what do you do? You know, I mean, I don't know. I'm just reading the tea leaves as to what happened last time. He was sniffing around suddenly last time, wasn't he?
Well,
bring back.
So John Mitchell's got 2 votes. I'm going to throw a vote out there, and he's on every board in the country. What about John Hart?
Yeah,
is he still alive?
It's John Hart. John Hart coming back out. I don't mind it, Reds.
If you're going to say John Hart, you might as well say Graham Henry as well.
Laughing Laurie.
Yeah, Laurie Moan.
You know, but anyhow,
Brendan Laney's putting his hand up, I heard.
Oh,
no, a bit of chainsaw action. That'll get them going.
No,
but yeah, so we've got plenty to look forward to.
I mean, don't get me wrong, my Gatland one's not, I'm saying I think Gatland should get it. I'm just saying, look what happened last time he started sniffing around.
I agree. And I think, it can't be out of the realm of possibility. And with Brendan Laney, he's too busy playing in the charity cricket game at the moment, rugby cricket down in Otago. They've got their own set up there, and he'd be busy with the business. But nobody's out of the realm of possibility. I think you were saying before, Rabs. I mean, it's still a bit it's still very open as to who may take it, isn't it? I just thought I hit Joseph Brown, but
that whole doesn't seem like it's going to work though, because as you say, Brown hasn't said it, but South Africa is saying it, that he's not leaving. So.
I think
Joseph
Erasmus just stirring the boat.
But does
stirring the boat. I saw something in the media today about Brown saying no, he doesn't have a clause. But the thing is, Brown's not saying the words "I'm staying on, I'm not going anywhere."
That's right.
Those words. He's interpreting it as if I don't have a clause, but he's not ruling out the fact that he wants to come off noticed.
Yeah. But if Joseph was offered the job, and this is the thing, we're all talking about Joseph Brown. If Joseph doesn't get Brown, does he want to do it?
It's a fair question.
You know, maybe, I mean, it's concerning to me.
I know he's worked with Brown and Scott Hanson in the past.
But to me, right, like, I was just saying before you came on, this is a critical year. They gave Foster a 2-year review and let him do 2 more years. We've got a huge monster tour of South Africa coming up and all this new international series, and we're replacing our coach about, 4 or 5 months out before it all starts. It's a bloody...
tour we're playing. We're playing a team that's
right.
I've never seen South Africa this strong.
That's right.
As much as they lost to us once, they're still...
Yes. That's right.
Pick 60 players.
Yeah.
They've literally picked 60 players to go on that tour.
They'll be taking the Heartland 15 over there.
Why not? You know, why
I
not?
wouldn't let you down, would they? They'd play for the jersey.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like, you know, it's an interesting call to do a coach replacement thing midway through. And, you know, people, I don't know if people listen to David Kirk's talking. It's all Razor was sacked, Razor was sacked, Razor was sacked. But if you listen to Kirk closely, he said that Scott chose to stand down.
Mm.
The media keeps saying he was sacked. He was sacked. Scott chose to. Now, obviously, yeah. So, I mean, why are we getting these headlines that he was sacked? He wasn't sacked. If you listen to that Kirk speech.
My thought and theory, Rhodey, is that they had the review. He went in there and said, right, this is what's happened under your orders for the last 2 years.
Yep.
Give me X, Y, and Z for the next 2 years, and I'll bring you home the World Cup.
Yep. It gets back to...
And everyone has said, no, unfortunately, this is the way it's got to be, i.e.
That's what I said,
contract solution. And
contract, All Black contracted players.
That's how you want me to pick an All Black team, get someone else.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. I think you're right. It's gone back to my theory, which has no, you know, it's just an opinion. All Black contracted players. The union insists because those guys are contracted, they play, and he doesn't have any say in who's selected. Foster seemed to be a little bit that way. He said to them, I want to select these guys, you know. I want to change. No, these guys are contracted till the World Cup. You've got to pick them, and Razor's gone up. To hell with it.
Yep. So
but the media are going, he's been sacked, which is, you know, yeah.
So what we'll do now, and I cut my head off, so that's all right. You don't want to see my ugly mug. But we'll change subject, because I think we've done that to death now. We've aired our thoughts. Super Rugby this Friday with the Western Reds with Nick White as assistant coach. He didn't last long not out of the, what do you call it? Severe Super Rugby. But he's back. They'll be hosting in Perth there, the Queensland Reds. But of course, you know, so they'll be we get a first look at how the Aussies are going to perform. And then of course the Kiwi teams all start kicking off next week with the next Friday. I'll just quickly go through this because we'll talk about the teams in a moment. So Friday week, Blues will host the Hurricanes there at the big National Stadium of Sacred Heart College. And then we've got at Blake Park, the Chiefs hosting the Drua Crusaders at Fraser Park in Timaru. Big game for the Timaruians. Taking on the Highlanders. That'll be a huge match. And I'm sure Jeremy Sutherland will be there with bells on, getting the donut. And then we will get a second look at the Force taking on the Brumbies. And then the first look at the Waratahs taking on the well, it says 20th of March, but that can't be right. Taking on the Waratahs. And then
taking on the Reds there,
yeah. And then it must be the third. I think the graphic got upset. And then, of course, we round out with the New Zealand teams. Highlanders will be hosting down in Queenstown. So there's a good trip for you, Donnie.
It's a beautiful
Moana, Pacifica. The Blues at the Onawa Domain, back at spiritual home for North Harbour, of course, taking on Crusaders. The Drua are taking on a team called the Skippers 15, which must be a Fijian invitational side. And then, of course, here at Jerry Collins Stadium, the new home for the Hurricanes in 2026, without the day games, I believe, because they don't want to pay $50 million to play at the stadium. It's the Hurricanes taking on the Chiefs. So plenty of pre-season fixtures to come. But what we'll do is we'll kick in. So we'll have a first look at the Drua, and because poor old Rhodey can't hear, they've had some key additions to their side this year. Angelo Smith, Isaac Fines, Leawasi, Manasi Matali, Timo Maya Navanua, and Joji Nasofa. And moving out of their team this year is Caleb Muntz, their kicker, Celestino Ratavitau Mardi, and Tavita Ikanaveri. They had a good start to the season last year, the Drua. You think they learned from their early start last year and moving forward this year?
There's a couple of key players moving on there, isn't there? Caleb Muntz and Rabbi Tarmunda. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they shape up this year. There's, I believe they haven't got the firepower that they've had in previous years, but we'll just wait and see.
Yeah, I think, as you said, with Muntz going, with several of them going, certainly losing a lot. Manasa Mataele is a huge in. He was the key figure in the NPC final. He turned that NPC final on its head in Christchurch, scored a dynamic try and set one up. One of the best games I've seen him play against a very good Otago side. He is a dangerous player if they can keep him fit and on the field. Once that guy strings a few games together, he can do pretty much anything on that wing. He is an extremely underrated footballer, in my opinion. The draw, the biggest problem is they're sensational at home. They're a strong side. They can come back. They could be 20, 30 points down. They can come back and win. They get a bit of momentum. They're flying. They can beat anybody at home. They are one of the worst travelling sides I've seen in rugby on the whole. They do not travel well. They never have. They lose winnable games. They get thumped in the odd game as well. They've got to learn to travel if they're going to be a threat in this competition. They've got to learn to adjust because they do have some talent across the board. Be really interested to see if their halfback comes back, their goal-kicking halfback who missed, wondering if you can help me out with the name, trying to remember his name. He missed a lot of last season. He's got dreadlocks.
Oh, yeah, I know the fella you're talking about.
He's a very, very dangerous player, and he's a very good goal kicker and halfback.
Yeah.
Out of my brain. I'm just sitting here going, don't mention the NPC with Rhodey around. We won't shut them up for the next half an hour.
But you're right about what you said about the Matabele. The problem I have is they got to get him the ball. He's a really dangerous winger and stuff, but what's he going to do for them if they don't get the ball to him? That's the concern.
Just thought of the name, boys. Frank Lamani.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Lamani. Yeah. But yeah, they've got to get him the pill. They've got to get him the pill, and those forwards are going to have to step up. And they showed in Fiji they can, and they can score through the ruck, outside, inside. They can score anywhere. But you're right, they've got to get him the ball, and they've got to learn to. I think we can all agree they've got to learn how to travel.
Yep.
So if they can sort out their passport issues, they should be okay.
Yeah, get them all over.
I'll say they'll finish 10th. There we go. So hopefully, I don't need to write it down. I can come back and write them down after the show. So I reckon they'll finish 10th. So it'll be interesting to see. I mentioned the Force. They're kicking off this year on Friday against the Queensland Reds. They've had massive key additions to their squad. Seth Fangiasi, Franco Molina, Nathan Hastie, George Bridge, Darby Lancaster, Boston Whakawhanua, and Augustin Moyana from Argentina. Moving on, Isaac Fines-Luasi, he's off to Drua. Harry Potter, Nick White, George Pullman, Theo Tompkinson, and Matt Proctor. Does George Bridge still have it in him? I think we should go to Rhodey on this one. He'll know more about George.
Well, before I say anything about George Bridge, this just proves my point yet again about the Australian teams, right? When Australia was really good in Super Rugby, they had 3 teams, okay? And they had and across those 3 teams, all their good test players were in those 3 teams. Now they insist on having a 4th team, and what have they done? They don't have enough players. They're filling it up with guys from overseas, ex-league players. Why don't Super Rugby have enough balls to just say you only have 3 teams and give that slot back to Argentina or Japan? It's ridiculous.
I'm completely with you on that.
Yeah,
I think they're an absolute force with 3 sides. No disrespect to those wonderful franchises that are out there trying to make it happen, but they need to go back to 3. That's where their strength was, and I think it's very obvious.
It is. because they spread. If you look every year, I haven't looked at the teams this year, but in previous years, you'll see, Test players will move from the Reds to the Blues or to ACT or to the Force. They move the guys around to try and even up how strong the teams are, but they actually weaken all the other teams. Look at the old days when the Brumbies and the New South Wales were always consistently in the playoffs because they had 3 teams.
You can't ignore that. You just can't ignore that. And I think it's weakened Super Rugby due to it. They've got rid of one franchise. I'd love to see them have as many franchises as possible, but they just don't have the quality and talent and depth coming through with AFL and Rugby League playing big roles over there. And if they had 3 teams, I just feel they would be so strong. I really do. I think it would make.
And Donnie, I've said to Rabs for years, this fourth team just ends up being a Barbarians team with guys from all over the world coming into play. A lot of them are old has-beens. It's kind of, to me, it just kind of deflates the whole purpose of having it. The Jaguares got in the final against the Crusaders and we cut them. That slot should be their slot.
Oh, how much have we missed Argentina and South Africa? I mean, missing South Africa's hurt our international team. We've seen that. We've seen that over the last few years. And I know Rabs and Mike will be in agreement. I know the boys know, and we've read articles about how much the Jaguares or Jaguares have come out and those South African teams. South Africa have got better. We've gone down. Argentina, to a degree, have got better as well. And we're missing those teams in the comp. And as much as there's a lot of lovers of rugby in Perth and a lot of people who love the game and some cool stadiums, and it's great for the western side of Australia, I just think 3 teams has always been what's worked in Australia and for Australia.
Yeah, and the other thing was, it was all right when Perth were there with the South African teams, because it was a good travel from South Africa to Perth.
On the money, Rabs. Yep.
But now,
and to me, if we can't get the South African teams back, then let's just get the Jaguares back and say bye-bye to the Western Force.
And it was great having Perth for the South African teams. Brilliant start for them, and it was such a nice point of the country with the travel and with them coming in and out of Australia and New Zealand, Rabs and boys. But it doesn't seem like much argument there. But how good would it be to have the Jaguares back? They were so competitive, and the fact they're a new franchise and pushed the Crusaders in the final was remarkable.
I'd rather have them than the Western Force, the Barbarians Western Force,
Yeah.
So in saying that, I believe the Western Force will finish 11th.
Yeah, I think they'll struggle.
Only because they can start with a hiss and a roar, but once they're a bit like the Drua, once they start getting on, and there was my brain thinking there was 12 teams. There is only 11, so I'm afraid the Force might be looking at the wooden spoon this year. So let's jump into the champion of champions, the best team in the world, and that's the Blues. Well, so we're led to believe.
Year after year.
I know. So their key additions this year: Peter Arke's come back from overseas, Cody Vai out of the Sevens squad, Malachi Ramplin and Rico Simpson. Moving on out of that team from last season is Mark Talia, bye-bye. Angus Tarvale, who's moved on. We'll talk about him in a minute. Riccatelli, he's buggered off to Italy, I believe, or France, or somewhere in Europe. And Harry Plummer. And on sabbatical, I hate that.
Me
Rico
too.
Ione. So the Blues, they kick off against the Hurricanes in a couple of weeks in the pre-season at Scotch College or whatever, Scots College in Auckland. Because there's a name we haven't spoken about, AB's selection. Vern Cotter. Will he have them buzzing?
Love Vern Cotter.
Well, it's quite possible. Quite possible. Who knows? I mean, more likely than my Warren Gatlin theory, probably. But I mean, Vern Cotter's been on the scene for a long time, hasn't he? And he's been reasonably successful.
Yeah, yeah, I think NZR don't need to scrape that far down the barrel, but he's certainly a good coach. I'll give him that much. But just talking about this, I don't think we saw the best of Harry Plummer last year. I think he was pretty much forgotten. But yeah, as for Mark Tilley and Rico Ioane, well, yeah, they can stay over there, as far as I'm concerned.
Talia's got a lot of talent, though, doesn't he? Like, yeah, I see what you're saying. Around, obviously around Rico playing in Ireland now, and Talia wanted to go. Do you think they'll miss Talia's finishing ability?
No.
Do you think they've got guys to cover him? Because, to be honest, he's a pretty good finishing winger. He had a pretty good record in the All Black jersey. I'm not saying he was perfect, but he certainly wasn't a flop when it came to rugby, Mark Talia, as a player. In my opinion.
He's a sort of winger that you've got to get the ball to, and the Blues struggle with that year after year. Their midfield and inside are never the greatest, But yeah, I mean, because look at Talia in the NPC, he played pretty bloody well.
Oh, he's fast.
They were getting them the ball,
He's I don't know. I didn't really want him to go away personally. I'm not saying I think Caleb Clark's fantastic. I think Carter can do a good job and has done a very serviceable job, if not more than that. But yeah, personally, if on the Blues, I wouldn't have wanted Talia to go, and I think they'll miss Riccatelli as well. He had a wonderful combo with Kurt Eklund, both very nuggety rakes, good hookers, and Riccatelli was a guy who'd come on and do a job for you. Of course, out of the Taranaki region, I think Francis Douglas, he was there, like the Barretts, and he's been very good for them. And Rebs, you were saying, so there are a few losses in that side. Tutu's another out, is that right, or is he playing?
Well, I thought he had gone, but I thought he had left, but then he was still around, Okay. So whether his contract fell through, I'll have to double check that one. But I honestly, thought that he had he just was all of a sudden back in the NPC, and I thought, well, hang on, I thought you were off to Europe. So unsure on that one. We'll have to dig deep, unless people out there know and can comment. Sorry,
will they have Bowden Barrett?
Yes,
of course they will.
Oh, yeah, that'll help them. That'll help them in terms of having some experience.
That's Vern's favourite team.
But you have a look at Auckland over the years, and I've spoken to Rabs about this over the years. How many number 10s have they had in the Auckland NPC team, and they don't pick them in the Blues, and they go to play in other super franchises and will perform out of their skin, They let their own talent go, and then they have to import a 10. I can remember when the Crusaders had, I think they had Carter, they had Stephen Brett, and they had Tyler Bladenhall, and the Blues were whining, can you give us one of your number 10s? Because they'd let their number 10, whose name escapes me at the time, go and play for the Chiefs or something. I don't know what it is about the NPC number 10s, but they never seem to bloody bring them through. Because their NPC team had a good number 10. I can't think who he was. I thought, I wonder if he'll get in there, but I don't think he did.
Perifetta.
Oh, yeah. Well, but they'll play Barrett.
Yeah, but Perifetta out of Wanganui. Mighty Heartland.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's what I mean. Auckland for years have had this issue of not bringing their own number 10s through the system.
Yeah. So are they going to be in the playoffs?
No.
They will be.
Number 9.
Only because I'm going to go back over this. Only because I'm going to go back over the show. I've already gone 11 and 10, so I'm giving the 4th place to the Blues.
No, 9.
Yeah, I'm with Rabs. I think they'll be in the hunt because everyone will rule them out and they'll have a good enough team.
Yeah, my red and black blood can never allow me to say Auckland or the Blues will be in the playoffs.
Well, that's why I have them 4th.
They'll be in the Alistair hunt.
That's why I have them forced, so they have to go away and play playoffs. So do I go one too far then? No, then. So then we got the Chiefs. And key additions this year in the Chiefs: Bennett Kumaroa, Tyrone Thompson, Tapia Cook-Savage, Lalakai Fikatea, Kieran Tamafuilau from the Pacifica team, Isaac Hutchinson. I apologise if I get these names ballsed up.
Good on you, Rex. Frank. You're going with
and then, but moving on, of course, Sean Stevenson, he's gone. Malachi Raplin, Gideon Raplin, Jimmy Tupou, Ramika Pohipa, and Aidan Ross, who's gone to become an Australian, and on sabbatical, Anton Leonard-Brown. Right, so the Chiefs, everything to play for, perennial bridesmaids. Is this going to be the year of the Chief?
Oh, well, anything's possible, isn't it? They've found it hard to crack the winning finals under Clayton McMillan, and me and Brian have talked at length about this. And McMillan's buggered off to Munster, and then now it's time for the next coach to come and have a go. But yeah.
No, well, it's John O'Gibbs.
Yeah, John O'Gibbs.
What's the name we haven't thrown out there?
No.
Maybe as an assistant. Maybe as an assistant, but not the head guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
The Chiefs.
Yeah.
They haven't lost anyone apart from, what was it, Jimmy Tupou, and there was another one there of any real note.
Yeah, Tupou will be lost. He's always I agree with you.
Yeah.
He's just a grunt worker. He just does a
That's
lot
right.
of work that you don't see. Just
the rest of those guys that they lost aren't really any big loss, as it were. No disrespect to them, but they weren't top players by the look of it. I don't recall the names apart from Tupou.
Sean Stevenson.
Yeah, well,
Stevenson.
Stevenson fell away. Stevenson fell away last year, but the Rampling brothers, they look like they made a bit of an impact. But
yeah, they weren't.
Well, only based on only because I can see how long we've been talking shit for. I'll move on, but I'll say the Chiefs will finish third.
Yeah, that's a fair assumption.
They'll be top four. Yeah,
top four.
And then we go to the most scariest team in Australia, and that's the Brumbies. They just always put the Heebies up my back pocket.
Agreed.
So they've got new additions. Tane Edmund, he's moved on from North Harbour to the Waratahs and now is a Brumby. Coyotes, Jarrah McLeod, Dan Nelson, Joe Dillon, and Harvey Cordukes. Don't know. All I know there was Tane Edmund. Moving on, they've lost Jack Deberishny, Harrison Goddard, Tom Hooper, Ben O'Donnell, and Noah Lalacio is a big, big loss for them. And they have a sabbatical with Len Ikatau. He's on sabbatical. So the Aussies are jumping into this, giving someone a year off to go and play somewhere else and get injured. So the Brumbies, you can never write them off.
Well, this is to my point again, isn't it? Tane Edmund and a couple of those other players have just been shuffled from another Australian franchise. They're just playing musical chairs again.
Yeah.
You know? Because they've got to try and
Raw last year and then fell away. So are they going to be in position number 8?
Icky Tau's a huge loss. He's one of the star players of the comp. He is how do you replace Len Hickey Tau? He's right up there, wasn't he? He is for national side and Brumbies. They've lost a few key players, haven't they? They'll still have a good pack. Real good pack, good loosies, good front row blocks. They'll be top 8 for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll have them at
you
number
need to
8.
write the Brumbies off.
Because we're Rugby Heartland New Zealand, not Rugby Heartland Australia. So we'll have a... Oh, fuck. Okay, here we go. The key additions to the mighty, mighty bloody Crusaders.
Here they go.
Lester Whainuku.
Huge.
Louis Chapman.
Huge.
Maloney Kunawavi and Manamula Latawi. And
never heard of them.
Later.
Never heard of them.
Nuggery hooker.
Ione, Ananu, Levi Amua, and Tom Christie.
Jeez, they haven't lost many.
There's your favourite.
See,
There's your favourite centre, Brian, Levi Amua. You'll be glad to see the back of him.
well, the thing was, to be fair, I mean,
That's great, yeah.
he was a big disappointment in the Crusaders. I felt for the form that he'd had when he played in Tasman, and even I think did he play for the Hurricanes? He came to the Crusaders and he was pretty. When they were starting him, he was pretty average, dropping the ball, running the wrong way. I mean, so Whaianuku or him at number 12, I know who I'd rather go for.
Well, you could just about put Dallas McLeod at 12 in.
Well,
I caught up with him a few weeks ago. He was telling me how good a coach Jamie Joseph was on the end of year tour.
Yeah.
Caught up with Delicate, good Methven lad, Mike would know. And he was good at the back end of last year. I won't mention the word rags of the competition he was playing in, but yeah, I think they'll be strong. Christie's a loss, but goodness me, they've gained Chapman and Whaianuku.
Top three.
And Leighton.
Tom Christie, I mean, Tom Christie's a huge loss. He was the best open side flanker in the competition for the country for the last couple of years. And how he didn't get in the All Blacks or the New Zealand 15. Well, we probably didn't have an All Black contract, but I mean, huge loss. I know they do have a couple of young open side flankers coming through whose names escape me. The guy used to sub him quite a bit. Corey Callow, that's it. Corey Callow. So Callow's a good player. They won't lose too much with Callow there.
No, I just hope he's back. He had a really bad leg injury last year, but
yeah,
you're right. You guys are bang on, and they will miss Christie for sure. Callow will help, but trying to think who the other feature is if Callow's not playing.
I can't remember. There was a guy in the NPC team that played quite well, but I can't remember who he was either.
What position was he?
It was number 7. There was a number 7 they were bringing in to sub, because Callow played number 6 for a while.
Yeah, trying to think who the other 7 is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, what I could say about that is we've got the Dwayne Monkley medal. Maybe we'll be seeing a Tom Christie.
Oh, yeah. Number 10. See, number 10 too. They brought someone in at number 10 too, haven't they?
Andrew Newstubb.
Newstubb, yes,
Highlanders, isn't he?
Yeah, Newstubb's playing for the Highlanders. They brought someone from another province in. I can't think who it was. I haven't got a computer in front of me.
Rayhana and Kimera.
Yeah. I thought they brought someone else in. I thought they did.
Andrew Newstubb actually came from West Melton. Well, he started his rugby career in West Melton, believe it or not.
Yeah, he's Ellesmere Comp. Yeah.
Sam Gallagher or Tom Barnes?
Torian Barnes is in, is he? Who's the other guy, Rex? Torian Barnes.
I'm just looking at the finals lineup for the Canterbury last year, and we had Cale and Gallagher in flanker positions.
Oh, yeah, Gallagher's in Japan, I think. Taylor Cahill's a lock.
Yeah, Taylor Cahill.
Lock or 6. Yeah, lock or 6. It'll be Corey Callow, boys. It's going to be Callow or...
I'm just having a look through the squad. Dominic Gardner's the other. Dominic Gardner's the other flanker they've got. Cullen Grace. Just trying to see this other.
There's going to be no surprise here.
Maybe
will finish second.
Maybe Cullen Grace could go back and coach South Canterbury.
Yes, Timmery boys.
That's what they've done. That's what they've done. They brought that James White up from the NPC team.
Oh, that's
number 10.
Yeah.
The number 10 that was playing quite regularly for Canterbury. They brought him up. That's the other 10 they brought up, which means they've got 3 10s.
I like Rayhana last year.
Yeah. As far as I know, he's still there.
Yeah.
So, in saying that, they had a good year. So I honestly believe they will finish second. The Reds. Again, we'll just quickly go through this. Key additions to them: Carter Gordon from the Brumbies, Ben Vola I think he was from the Waratahs. Aidan Ross, of course, from the Chiefs. Travon Pritchard, don't know him, and Nick Conway. They've lost Angus Blythe, Seth Agassi, Alex Hodgman, and Liam Wright. The Reds are on a bit of a resurgence at the moment. So I'll be looking at them to probably finish 7th.
I've got them at 6th.
Can Les Kiss work his magic?
Yeah. What a loose trio.
Because after this, he goes to the Wallabies coaching job, doesn't he? Or is he already there now?
Pretty much in there, isn't he?
Yeah. So he'll be wanting to mould these guys to how he wants the Wallabies to play. So don't be surprised to see a lot of Queenslanders in the Wallabies side for this year.
Harry Wilson and Fraser McWright, two of the best loosies in the world, playing for them.
I think Fraser McWright and what's that other fellow you just mentioned?
Harry Wilson, big bull running.
Yeah.
Oh, Harry Wilson. Yeah. I think they're two of the best, if not the best, loosies in Australasia, without a doubt.
I agree.
They tore South Africa apart, didn't they? A couple of times.
Yep.
Okay, so the finishing 6th, 7th is our call there. And then we got the mighty Hurricanes! Yeah,
here we go.
So, key additions: Geordie Barrett, Josh Warby, Vernon Basson, Warner Dearns, Lucas Cashmore, and we've got rid of Cade Banks, Zach Gallagher, who's gone down to some team called the Crusaders. Peter Umaga Jensen has finally hung up his boots, and Will Tucker. So, the Hurricanes got rid of Wellington Rugby.
They'll choke again like they always do.
For, I believe, $5 million to the owner of the NZCIS Sports Centre and Brewtown in Upper Hutt. They play their games at Pororua Park and at a pinch might play a few games at the stadium. Yeah. So, is this going to be the year of the Canes? Hell yeah.
No.
They'll just choke. They'll choke.
Mike and I are looking forward to a tour of the facilities. I heard you're going to take us to Brewtown and the new facilities up there. So we're looking forward to a trip up there.
Hey, the first place we'll be going is that bloody bar of his.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be fucking last man standing.
Yeah.
They'll choke again like they always do. They'll choke again like they always do.
So with Barrett coming back, let's admit he had a good season with Leinster and stuff and whatever. But
here's my theory for you.
But is he at the end of his era?
Not far off.
He'll be strong. I think he'll be good for them. Big, dominant defensive player, strong ball runner, good kicker. I think at Super Rugby level he'll be no problem. I think he's still got it.
Yeah,
that's my opinion. With Geordie Barrett.
Yeah. My theory about the Canes, mate. If you have a look at the Rebels, right, were privately owned, okay, and what ended up happening? No money was spent on players. No money was spent on coaches. No money was spent on anything. This guy won't want to be spending money, and I think it's going to be to the detriment of the Hurricanes, personally.
Yeah, but maybe because they're all involved with the NZCIS in Heratonga, and they have the cricket there, they have the Phoenix there, and all that. They're going to be using the money earned for charging them rent to pay for the Hurricanes.
Just having seen how that model's worked in the past, same as the Highlanders being half owned by someone else. Look at the money that doesn't get put into them. I mean, it's kind of. I don't know. I think it could be a detrimental thing to them.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is as well, I forgot to mention when we were talking about the Chiefs, East Coast are no longer a Hurricanes franchise part of it. They've moved on to allegiances like Taranaki and have moved to the Chiefs. Not that, unfortunately, the East Coast were providing any talent to the Hurricanes, but I mean, we've got a photo there of who was that there? Vernon Basson from Manawatu. You know, they're still wanting to pick some of these guys from these other union franchises that are meant to be part of the franchise, which to me is a good thing.
Very good thing. Very good thing, and some great ins, Rabs. Warner Jones, you know, Basson. Let's stay on what you're saying. Picking guys from Manawatu. I love that.
Yeah. And Warner Burns, I mean, you know, good for Mum because she's the new Tanya. She's the new CEO of Wairarapa Bush. So there is that connection there with the Bush, with Warner being in there now. I was keeping an eye on him in the end of year tour with Japan. And he was playing well. He led Japan a couple of times there. So
very underrated.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he brings that international experience to the Canes. So
be valuable.
Yeah. So to me, they're finishing first, by the way, if I hadn't already mentioned it.
Ninth, if you're lucky.
Ninth. They make the fight.
They always choke when the big game comes along. Always.
All right.
They always choke.
Yeah.
All right. If they finish ninth when we're doing our end of season talk, if the Hurricanes finish ninth, I will wear a Canterbury jersey.
For a year.
For a year? Or maybe for the NPC. How's that?
You can wear a mid-Canterbury jersey.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or South, what do you reckon, Mike?
Yeah. Middle South will do.
Well, I am still awaiting my Ellesmere Rugby Union jersey to arrive in the mail, so I might even just wear that because that's Canterbury.
I hear the Burton still fizzing. Yeah, you could.
Going off like a fish milkshake, mate.
Like a frog sauce.
All right, then. We'll talk about this other bloody team then. The Otago Highlanders, home of Jamie Joseph. So, here's a list for you. Key additions. By golly, I wonder why they all moved to Otago. Angus Tarvai, Thomas Lavanini, Adam Lennox. Unfortunately, Dylan Pledger is out for the season. Andrew Newstub, Rajan Pasatoa, Stanley Solomon, and Xavier Tito Harris. Moving on, James R. Scott, AJ Falafinga, Nathan Hasty, Thomas Umaga Jensen, and big loss of Sam Gilbert.
Yeah, Umaga Jensen's a lot.
God, that bloody Thomas Devaney's a bloody unit, isn't he? He's a big boy.
Is that Lavanini?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
from Argentina, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is a big boy, eh?
I'll miss the yellow card. Missed the yellow card.
Gets a few cards, but he's a beast. He's done well in internationals, but he gets a few cards. But imagine him coming in with Mitch Dunshay at lock, and Fabian Holler targeting 3 monsters.
Yeah, no, good point. But
it's good to see. It's good to see Tavatava Nawai back training after his big Jim's back.
They
I'm not sure
who they're replacing Dylan Pledger with.
Oh, I'm gutted about him being out, boys. It's really upsetting. I'm quite upset about it.
Haven't heard. I'll have a quick look.
Yeah.
Haven't heard though. I'm not sure who they're replacing him with.
You've got a feel for the boy. You really, really do. He had the world at his feet pre-Christmas, and now he's got to look forward to 2027, which, I don't know, might be good. But, you know, he may even talk to a few of the Fijian boys and ask for the witch doctor's address in Fiji for a bit of a special carver that might fix him.
Get bloody Frank Lamani in there.
Yeah, Frank Lamani. What about the North Otago halfback?
Oh, the wee Asian.
Yeah.
I can't see anything there.
That
See
would be
anything.
awesome.
He played well in the final, Mike.
Well, we all remember Funaki Tanaki.
I wonder what New Stub's role is going to be in that team. because
back up
because
10.
because Cam Miller, you can't not start Cam Miller the way he played last year.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
does New Stuff take Gilbert's place at fullback?
No.
No.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever. I don't think I've ever seen New Stuff play out of 10.
He played fullback a couple of games for Canterbury in the NPC.
Did
Yeah, he did a couple of times.
he?
and only
Oh,
because we are Heartland. Only because we are Heartland.
Tenny
New Stuff.
Naka. Tenny Naka's his name.
Yeah.
Tenny Naka.
Well, you could just about put Kieran McClay in there.
He's an Otago, but he loves Otago in the
Yeah, he's an Otago boy.
He's an Otago, yeah.
Or even head over to the central Otago region and see who's playing for the Bush Pigs or the Aardvarks and see who wants to come over from there.
See, weirdly, the Highlanders don't seem to do that. They seem to go to other provinces. You know, they're always full of Hawke's Bay and Manawatu and
Right.
Bay of Plenty. They don't really look local for some reason. I'm not sure why, because there is good local
I'm
players
sure-
in the Prem.
I'm sure they could go over to Upper Clutha, the reigning champions 2 years in a row, the White Horse Cup, and find a number 9 over there, couldn't they?
Well, they could find one
the
in the
Rams
Premier
or the
competition.
Steelers.
Hmm.
They could find one in the Premier competition here. There's good nines in that, but they never seem to look there.
Yeah, Rams
Just
or
no one
Steelers.
from Green Island.
Hey, don't knock Green Island. That's where my grandmother was born. Thank
The
you very much.
Grizzlies. Green Island
Yeah, that's
Grizzlies.
why Otago's my second
Now-
team.
Now
Marty
the big
Banks.
thing.
Okay.
Now the big thing around the Highlanders, guys. The big thing around the Highlanders that we need to watch. Even though I said to you that, you know, in the ODT, Joseph claims no one's talked to him. Let's see what happens in this first pre-season game. See whether Joseph's there or not. That could be a sign.
Mm.
Yeah, so who is the possible outcome there? Mark Brown?
Mark Brown.
Scott Robertson.
Could be Mark Brown. Yeah.
You could just
Scott Robertson's
What
looking for a
about
job.
Razor Light?
Razor's looking
Well,
for a
he's
job.
only not allowed to coach an international
Yeah.
side, nothing
Yeah.
about a club side.
Come on down the road, Razor.
Mark
Rob
Brown.
Penny. Then Robertson
Penny.
goes back to the Crusaders.
No.
Well, you could just well, I was going to say they've locked in Scott Eade to coach the Stags, but you can probably count him out actually. But
Yeah.
Nice
Well,
one.
going by my numbers, I've got them in at 5, and then the Waratahs. I've lost the number somewhere, but the Waratahs. We'll just quickly have a quick look at them, and then move on to the last team, I believe. But they've picked up Harry Potter, the magic from the Force. Sid Harvey, Angus Blythe, Falau Fainga, Ione Moa Nanunu from the Crusaders, Matt Phillip, Pete Samu, and Jack again, tossing the
Debrasini.
names into a hat.
Debrasini.
And then, of course, everyone else has buggered off somewhere else to another team. And but a big loss there I see is Tenali Tupou. And but then, he's normally only on the field for 20 minutes anyway. But again, the Waratahs and all that, they've just trying to shuffle the cards once again.
That's right.
Mhm.
Just moving players around the Aussie franchises, and it doesn't help them.
I agree.
They don't get continuity. They don't get strength. I just drop the Force and have 3 strong teams again, because they've got enough players here for 3 strong teams.
So,
So many
Donnie?
people think that as well. Like they have to.
Yeah.
You want this
But for
comp
some-
to work.
But for some reason, we bend over to the Australians and give them everything they want, and I don't know why. It's just
So anyway, I don't think they'll make the playoffs. There you go. I'll just move on. And then we come to our
Jesus
final
Christ.
team, which I think will finish 7th. And this is Moana Pacifica. Key additions there. Big man from the Manawatu, Nani and Lamapi, Augustin Pulu, Jimmy Tupou, Dominic Ropita, Mamura Harada, Glenn Faiu, and Israel Leota. They've lost Poni Famamasuli, Fini Inisi, Lotu Inisi, Sam Slade, Danny Toala, Sione Havili, and Kieran Timofau. And, of course, on sabbatical, Artie Savia. The captain is going to be Miracle.
Tupou's a big addition to them.
On where they left off last year is what I'm saying. Thoughts?
Tupou's a big addition to them, man. He'll really help them out.
Yeah, I think the Anisi brothers is a big loss.
Yeah, they're good players.
Who's coaching them this year?
Tana
Umaga again. Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
But I think they'll still be stronger than a lot of people realise.
Yeah.
I know everyone will say Artie's gone, they're gone, but they won't be as strong, but I still think they'll be a strong side all round. They've got a pretty talented team, got a good culture there. If they can, Tana can lift them mentally, they'll be right in the fight again.
Aaron Major is his assistant. Yeah.
Yeah, he's.
How do you think they compare to the Drua, Donnie?
Better side.
Yeah, better side. Yeah.
Better side away certainly.
And after seeing them announce Miracle as the captain, and I saw a thing they've shown his whole plays of the year from last season. Man, he looked like a baby Artie. He's learned a lot from Artie Savia.
Future All Black.
Yeah? Doesn't he play for Samoa?
Not sure.
Why not?
He'll be so valuable to them. He was the other star player last year.
Yeah. So, but that's pretty much it. I think we've sorted out the season. We don't know about NPC or Heartland yet. There's been a few movements around the Heartland region. I see a certain team wearing red and white are now advertising for a coach.
Watch this space.
Watch this space, exactly. I've heard a report is out, but it's all been redacted like the Epstein files. But yeah, it's sort of still a bit frustrating not getting news from what's going on over there. I've heard Craig Adams will be back for Buller, which is awesome. Because this is like the start of the year, we don't know if it's still going to be Bunnings. I've heard Bunnings have pulled the plug. So other than going to Carter's, the only building company they haven't had as a sponsor, I don't know, maybe the Gallagher Premiership, because Gallagher seems to be throwing money at New Zealand rugby at the moment. I don't know how that's going to affect the Chiefs, and that with Gallagher fence wiring as a major sponsor. But I suppose watch this space. But I'll just come straight out now, get out the old crystal ball and go, my Heartland champions for 2026 will be Wairarapa Bush, and the NPC champions for 2026 will be the mighty Wellington Lions. Yeah.
Good luck.
Good luck getting the Maid Cup off us.
And of course, we've got the Farah Palmer Cup. Mustn't forget the ladies.
Yes, of course.
It's going through a bit of a change. Unfortunately, we've lost the Taranaki Theo. And I do feel for the Otago Premiership or Championship winning side who don't get to play in that competition for the Premiership. It's, I think, a bit of a kick in the teeth.
I enjoyed commentating that comp last year. I commentated 2 or 3 games, and a couple of them were really helter-skelter, tight ones. Northland Wellington, I got a really good one up in Kākohe, and Manawatu upsetting Auckland. Well, you might not call it an upset, actually. There in Palmy, very, very much enjoyed calling that competition, and some brilliant rugby on show in that comp. But I do feel for that Otago side, Raps.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, the whole point of that competition was the champion has a chance to be the champion of champions, and now they don't get that chance this year. Unless they change their mind again. You know what the NZR is like. It's like
whose brain dead decision was that?
Because they haven't got enough money to do what they've been doing. That's it.
Well, they were saying Moana Pacifica hasn't got enough money, but Oh, I don't know. Someone needs to fucking rocket up their ass. God almighty.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Unfortunately, we could talk all day and still not solve the problems of what's happening in New Zealand.
Bring back
But
Wayne Smith.
at least we know that it's the Canes and the Wellington Lions year. We're all in agreement with that.
No, no.
Oh, wrong.
And that we will hear the dulcet tones of Mr. Donny again on the tally later in the year.
Yes,
But
I'm looking
we
forward
will
to the
be back.
Timaru game, boys.
Well, are you going to do that?
Yeah, I've got the call for the Crusaders Highlanders, so very excited. Wonderful
Oh,
opportunity. Yeah.
awesome. I might have to get the courier to send something down to Mr. Jeremy Sutherland, the president, so you can have a tipple or two.
Just make sure he's still got his $10 bottles.
I will ask him if he's still got his $10 bottles.
If he put the price up, I'm not going. Yeah.
Well,
Morgan, you got to come down.
it should be free.
The trip south.
Yeah, I'll come down there. Yeah, it's actually quite cool because the tickets are only 15. The tickets are only $15, and kids go free, so that's pretty cool.
Kid friendly as well.
Mm.
They'll have plenty of entertainment set up, and they've got a train coming down from Garden City. So go.
Oh, that'll be fun. Yeah, no, that'll be fun. But I suppose we all have to, as I said, move on, get on with the rest of our days and stuff, and start planning for next week's show.
Super Smash Cricket.
Hey, welcome back, Donny, Mike, and Rhodey. Thank you for joining us. And as I said, we've sorted out the world issues, and we'll be stuck into it hopefully next week and continue our 30 years of celebrating bringing rugby online. As I said, if you're watching the show, jump on, tell us your memories of the last 30 years, because we'd love to hear them. And I may even try and see if I can get some free copyright or uncopyrighted images of the last 30 years as well that we can share on the show. So really, that's about it. So thank you, guys. I'll get you to stay on to the credits roll, and we'll talk later.
Right.
Okay.